Josiah. I have a new series of books that I want to introduce to you. This was one of my favorites when I was a little girl. It's called Alice in Bibleland. I brought several of these books out for you when I came to visit, so those are wherever Mommy put those books. This one, though, is called The Story of David and Goliath. So let's see how Alice discovers David and Goliath. A little girl named Alice liked to exercise and run, and to read a Bible story when every day was done. See, she's running with her doggie. Alice liked to read about how faith will see us through, and how everything is possible when God is there with you. She's a kitty and a doggie, and she's reading her Bible storybook. Of young David and the giant was the story Alice read when an airmail bird delivered a little note which said, "Reading is the magic key to take you where you want to be." So see, up here's the little airmail bird bringing her the message. The Bible storybook she had became a great big screen. Alice walked on through to Bibleland and came upon this scene. See, her book is really big, and now she can walk through it right into the story. A shepherd boy named David could play the harp and sing. David's older brothers were soldiers for the king. So here's little David, he's playing his harp. See, there's a harp. David was too young to fight. He watched his father's sheep, then sang and played the harp to help King Saul of Israel sleep. King Saul was very worried. He couldn't sleep at night, since the soldiers of the Philistines were looking for a fight. Here's King Saul, and here's Alice watching. Their champion was Goliath, a giant almost 10 feet tall. And when he spoke, the Israelites would tremble one and all. See how big Goliath is? He's a giant man. He's huge. Goliath roared, "You Israelites, let's let our soldiers rest. Just send one man to fight me, to decide which army is the best." See, here he is yelling. "And if your man can kill me, here's what we will do. We'll say you Israelites have won, and we'll be slaves for you." So here's this big, tall guy, Goliath, and he just wants one man to come fight him. But he's so big, they're all scared to come fight him. Would you be scared to fight Goliath? I would be. "But if I win this battle by being strong and clever, you Israelites will work for us and be our slaves forever." For 40 days he challenged the Israelites to fight. They looked up at the giants, and their hearts were filled with fright. They were scared to go fight him. But all they needed to do was defeat that one big man, and they would win. Who do you think will go fight Goliath? One day, young David brought some food to help his brothers out. He heard the great big giant named Goliath roar and shout. David asked, "Why do you fear Goliath's shouts and fuss? We are all God's people. He will take care of us." See, little David, he was too young to fight. He was just a little boy, but he wasn't scared of Goliath because he knew God was bigger than Goliath. David went before King Saul and said to him, "King Saul, I want to fight Goliath, who is almost 10 feet tall." At first, King Saul refused him. "You are but a shepherd boy. Goliath is a giant who can break you like a toy." They were worried to send the little boy to fight Goliath. But David answered, "I have killed a lion and a bear. Each tried to take away some sheep grazing in my care. My strength and courage came from God. He kept me safe back then. And when I fight Goliath, God will be with me again." At last King Saul said, David, go. God keep you in his care. And for this brave deed that you do, my armor's yours to wear. So King Saul was going to give David his armor to go fight Goliath. But David didn't feel right in the armor of the king. Instead, he picked up 5 smooth stones and took his staff and sling. Here's his sling, and then his big stick is his staff, and he's getting stones out of the creek. What's he going to use the stones for? Goliath looked at David and gave a scornful laugh, for he thought David couldn't win with just a sling and staff. Goliath said, Come closer, come fight me if you dare, and I will feed you to the beasts and fowl that fill the air. Look how little David looks compared to Goliath. But David had a secret weapon, or not so secret. God was on David's side. Then David said, You come to me with armor, javelin, and spear, but I come in the name of God, and so I have no fear. The Lord my God will conquer you. He needs no spear or sword, and everyone who follows him will have a just reward. So you can see how little he looks next to Goliath. But David might as well have been 10 feet tall also, because he had God helping him, and he wasn't scared. Goliath rushed at David, his shield and weapons shone. David took out his sling and loaded 1 smooth stone. David slung the little stone. It hit Goliath's head. It sunk into his forehead, and Goliath fell down dead. David beat the giant. The armies of the Philistines decided not to stay. They knew that they had lost the war, and they turned and ran away. The soldiers of the Israelites laughed and cheered with joy, for the Lord had won the battle with a stone and just 1 boy. King Saul was so delighted that the battle had been won. He took David to his palace to be treated as his son. Then Alice walked back through her screen. She thought of David's story, and how his strength and courage came from faith in God's great glory. For size is not important when there's something big to do, for everything is possible when God is there with you. See, God used 1 little boy to win an entire war. It doesn't matter how big you are or how small you are, God can use you and help you beat your fears. Bye, Josiah.